What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Today I want to start with a bittersweet story that I'm hoping will inspire you. I'm talking about Ola Orekunrin, a Nigerian medical doctor born and trained in UK, but now making great impact, not just in Nigeria, but in all of West Africa. See, several years ago, while Ola was still in school for her medical degree, her family went to Nigeria for the holidays. Now, while they were in Nigeria, her 12-year-old younger sister, who had been diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, became very sick. Now, all the hospitals around the area where they were, none of them could treat her to get well. So the family started looking for air ambulance that could treat her sister on the way to a better hospital. Do you know that they searched the whole country? There was no air ambulance service in the whole of Nigeria. In fact, this family searched the whole of West Africa. So they nothing except in South Africa. So they ordered for this air ambulance in South Africa, but by the time the air ambulance in South Africa arrived at Lagos, the little girl had given up. You cannot even imagine the devastation that this family went through, you know, going from the joy of, oh, we are going home for Christmas, we're going home for the holidays, you know, going from that to having to go back to the UK after losing a daughter. Now, the reason I'm talking about this lady is that she didn't allow that to leave her in a perpetual state of despair. She decided to do something about it. Ola recognized even then that her family is not the only one that has faced such a horrific situation in Nigeria, where immediate medical attention could not be provided just because of the poor quality of many of our hospitals. She also knows that the state of many of our roads make it really hard for people to get to good hospitals on time. And that's besides the fact that you will be delayed by police at checkpoints, you know. Imagine trying to rush to the hospital and the policemen are stopping you for 50 naira. And this is why she quit her job and got the necessary training and moved back to Nigeria. And that was 3 years ago. Today, Flying Doctors Nigeria, which is the name of her company, you can also find them online for more information, is now the largest air ambulance service provider, not just in Nigeria, but in the whole of West Africa. Ola is now 27 and her story has been told on CNN and several media outlets, and she keeps inspiring more people. Today, they have 20 aircraft in different parts of West Africa, and they have 44 trained physicians, and when they pick you up, they actually give you the necessary treatment while you are in the aircraft until they get you to a better hospital. Now, they take people to South Africa, they take people to India, to China, to so many other countries wherever you want to go to receive treatment. Now, while I commend what these air doctors are doing, and I'm really proud of what they're doing, you know, yet I'm very concerned about the cost of this service. I know that their website says that their price is very reasonable, but I keep wondering if common people, you know, people that are getting minimum wage, traders, I keep wondering if common people can afford this kind of service. And I'm really hoping that it's not just the rich people, you know, that will be enjoying this kind of service, because if that's the case, then people are still dying. Now, the only way that common people can also get adequate medical service, in my opinion, is by having good hospitals close to where they are, at least driving distance. I'm talking good hospitals, not the hospitals where the doctor will be looking at you while you're dying and telling you if you don't have money that they can't treat you. At least build us one good hospital in each state, one that is of world standard, like the ones they have in India or in Germany or in the US. That way, people that cannot afford to charter aircraft will not have to die either. Just imagine if Nasarawa State Teaching Hospital can look like this, or if Osun State Hospital can look like this. Yes, there is nothing wrong in having hospitals that look like this in Nigeria, especially in places like Jos, like Borno, where a lot of people have been killed. I mean, if everyone watching me right now would decide to do something about the situation of things in Nigeria, do you know that there will be real changes? I mean, if one person can bring about such a change, just think about what the rest of us can do. I know a lot of people are doing things, and whatever you're doing, please keep doing it. I really commend you. And I'm sure that by now you know that age doesn't matter. You can do anything, no matter how old you are. Sometimes I think about many of our musicians in Nigeria and how God has given so many of them huge platforms, you know, that they could use to highlight many atrocities that are going on in our societies. Instead, many of them, all they sing about is, please be my cocolet, be my cocolet.
She be my fine, fine, fine lady.
many of them make a lot of money and they buy fancy cars. But guess what? The roads where they ride the cars are filled with potholes. So within a year, the car is starting to look old. And they use generator to power their concert because they know that NEPA will take light and they know that they can be kidnapped anytime. These guys, they know they can be kidnapped anytime. I'm like, when will these people sing about corruption and the situation of things in Nigeria? I mean, why do you think that Fela is considered a legend? It's because of what he sang about. International TTF. Yes, the guy doesn't have any special voice. Yeah. Please don't write me any mail about that. We all know now. But the thing is, his lyrics are so on point. I'm not saying that you shouldn't sing about love, because, you know, we all need somebody. But the thing is, after you find this somebody and you, let's say you get married, you need electricity for honeymoon. You get what I'm saying? If not, that honeymoon will be so hard. Not that kind of hot, though. It's the other hot, you know, when there's no AC. Yes, that kind of hot, yes. So yes, let's, as we sing about, you know, loving somebody, let's also sing about, we need electricity now. All I'm saying is there is something that you can do. And the joy of knowing that you made a difference is extremely rewarding. I'm just keeping it real. Still on ordinary people making a difference, I like to tell you about a new device called Touch Not My Anointed. Well, that's not the real name, but I like to call it that because I think that's what it does, you know? Touch Not My Anointed, yes. Remember that I once told you the story of an Indian lady who was raped and murdered by 6 men inside a bus in India? Well, rape is so rampant in India and 3 engineering students have decided to do something about it. Now, these guys created a GPS-equipped anti-rape underwear. Yes, so my people, if you see any hot Indian girl passing by, I know we have a lot of them in Nigeria, please, I don't get any funny idea. Because under that beautiful sari that you are saying, yes, there is something that Yoruba people call makan. You know, as in Touch Not My Anointed. She's probably wearing an anti-rape underwear. Yes, so it looks like a nightgown, but it has wiring that gives attackers electric shock. I'm talking about 3,800 kilovolts. Do you know what that would look like? Yeah, something like that. Oh my god, did he survive? You know, this thing has GPS and it can automatically send text message to the police and family members with the GPS location of the attempted crime. I'm like, whoa, that is genius, you know? Your family members will get a text message exactly where you are and they will say, they're about to do it to you. So isn't that genius? You know, I was so excited when this thing came out. I said, this will be good, or even for us in Africa. Yes, because you know there's a lot of rape cases in Africa as well, like in Congo, in Nigeria, in South Africa. You know, by the way, what happened to that anti-rape condom? You know, the one that was made by that South African doctor. Did you hear anything? I've not had it in a long time. Remember the one that clings to the man's thing, making it impossible for him to walk or pee or even do it. So back to what I was saying. When I saw this new device, you know, I was so excited that this would be good for us in Africa as well. But then I read how the thing works. It says that the pressure sensors on the garment triggers the powerful shock whenever it detects unwanted force. I said unwanted force. That can be many things. So a lot of things can trigger unwanted force around here. What if somebody is riding Okada and the biker suddenly hits a pothole? You know, my people, when the bike jacks, you know that the Okada guy will also jack back, and this lady feels an unwanted force. I can just imagine the Okada guy getting shocked, you know. I'm just trying to picture both of them being thrown off the Okada. And this is a warning for those of you that like to carry, you know, overload on your Okada and your turo. Yes, in fact, some Okada drivers will keep hitting the brake, you know, so that they can tap current. You better be careful, if she's wearing this kind of underwear, you are no longer a driver. As far as the government is concerned, you are now an unwanted force. So please be careful. Don't mess with. Anyway, I'm just kidding, you know, but it's a possibility, yeah, right? At least maybe they can put off and on button, you know, so that that when we wear them in Nigeria, we can turn them on when we need to, you know, when you feel vulnerable. And then when you are getting on Okada, at least you can turn it off for the sake of the Okada driver. But these Indian students, they've really tried. I think they should be commended for at least standing up and doing something about rape in their country. I'm just keeping it real. It's such a shame that the government of Togo has continued to oppress journalists in its country. Remember I told you how some journalists protested some weeks ago and the police shot rubber bullets and tear gas at them, injuring so many of them. Well, the latest victim now is Kofi Atipo, a freelance photojournalist and videographer. Kofi was coming home from church last Wednesday on his motorcycle when two cars with tinted glasses drove up to him, and someone in one of the cars screamed at him, accusing him of spoiling the image of Togo by sending pictures of what happens in Togo abroad. Now, the two cars hit Kofi on both sides, intending to kill him, but fortunately for him, he didn't die. Someone was able to help him get to the hospital on time. Now, I can just imagine what it's like for Kofi to go to bed every night knowing that there are people out there wanting to kill him for doing his job, really. I mean, just for taking pictures of their atrocities in a supposed democratic country. So for how long? For how long will Togolese government keep doing things like this? And by the way, I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about this story, you know, that journalists are being harassed in Togo, because in my country, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, journalists are still being arrested and detained without charge. Just last week, you know, Nigerian president arrested journalists at Leadership newspaper for publishing a story that says that the president is trying to hunt down members of the opposition party, you know, and this newspaper published a document that they claim is an evidence, you know, that the story is true. Now, the normal thing for a president to do, you know, in a case like this is to release a statement denouncing the story if really it's not true, right? Yeah, thank you. Now, he did that. In fact, the presidency issued several statements. You know, Mr. Ruben Abati issued one. I mean, Dr. Ruben Abati, yeah, how can I make that mistake? And in fact, Dr. Donyi Okupe also issued another statement. They sent out several tweets, you know, that this story is not true. We are not trying to hunt down the opposition party. In fact, the next election is not a do or die for us. Yes, this story is not true. But after releasing all the statements and tweets, do you know that they went ahead and arrested leadership journalists, asking them to produce the document that serves as evidence, and they detained them? That was when everybody started thinking, why did they arrest the journalists now? If truly they don't have any skeleton in their cupboard, why did they arrest these journalists? Just imagine how many people say all kinds of stuff about President Obama here in America. If they're arresting all these people, do you know how many people would be in prison by now? Seriously, Mr. Jonathan or Dr. Whatever. How come for years Boko Haram members were killing people anyhow? You had no action. Now you want us to think you have action by arresting journalists? Wow. In a democratic country, you don't just arrest journalists and detain them without charging them for any particular crime. You can take them to court if you feel like a story that they wrote is not true, but you don't arrest them and detain them without any charge. Up till now, Mr. President has not been able to do anything about Boko Haram. He keeps addressing them as ghosts. Meanwhile, these people are still killing people. Even this week, people died because of Boko Haram. Innocent people. In fact, many people are now advocating amnesty for Boko Haram only because they've realized that this government cannot contain them. And they just want the killings to stop. You know, I also want the killings to stop. But my question is, what about the thousands that have been killed? The thousands that have been disabled? Is that it? Seriously? So we should not expect justice whatsoever? In fact, in many cases, a whole family was wiped out. I know of an elderly woman whose husband and children were killed right in her presence. I mean, how do you even console somebody like that? These people that have died, they are somebody's daughters, somebody's sons, somebody's husband, somebody's wives, somebody's parents. Does that mean they died for nothing? Honestly, this government has failed in so many ways, and yet he wants to run in 2015. My people, I'm hoping that this time though, we will all unite and say enough is enough. You know me, I'm just keeping it real. So some people in America last week were making a fuss about their president, Barack Obama, because of how he complimented a female judge, the Attorney General of California. During a private fundraising, the president introduced Kamala Harris as a brilliant judge who is dedicated and tough, making sure that everybody gets a fair shake. Yes, on top of that, the president added that she also happens to be by far the best looking attorney general in the country. That was all. Oh. Yes, that was what caused the wahala. The story became top news. Oh. And people were saying all kinds of things, you know. They were like, yeah, Obama is sexist. How can he say that? I said, Kai, Americans. Hey, you know. See, this is one of the reasons why I love Americans. They are crazy. In a good way. I said, Kai, it's good to have basic amenities, oh, you know, everything taken care of. You have good roads, good electricity, you know, water and all. I said, it is when you have basic amenities that you can start taking offense. When the president gives compliments. When did it become a crime to compliment a lady for looking good? And considering the fact that he's been friends with this woman for years. Yes, and she looks good. Yes, she does look good now. So I think that this is just a joke, okay, between them. Except that this was made in public. So I'm like, seriously, Americans, this is something that an African woman would appreciate. When the president tells you you look good, that means you look good. Here is Obama complimenting one woman for looking good. Everybody is taking offense. Meanwhile, Ghanaians are complaining that their own first lady doesn't dress nice enough. Yes, so the new first lady, Mrs. Mahama. Well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Well, yeah, maybe just a little. Yeah, right. She needs to step it up a little bit and add some colors. Like, seriously. But my people, not everybody can be like Michelle Obama now. What's up, Michelle? How you doing, sister? Yeah. I mean, not everybody can be like Michelle Obama. Except when I become first lady, yeah? Yes. Of course, I will not disappoint you guys, you know? I'm just keeping it real. Before I leave today, I want you guys to see a little bit of Comoros.
Hey, Naïma. Hey, tu laisses croire qu'il n'y a pas de fumée sans feu. Tu sais qu'il n'y a rien entre nous deux. À quoi tu joues, c'est ton petit jeu. Oh, 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 oh. Prétentieuse, moi, non, c'est ce que je veux. Ouais, ouais, ce n'est pas toi. Non, non, non.
Alright, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'ma see y'all later. Peace out.